Welcome to another episode of Demystifying Gay Porn. My name is IK Grande, and if you watch gay porn, I've definitely helped you get off. Today, I am interviewing porn model and content producer Alessio Vega, who I've worked with a couple times already. We have a good rapport. I love working with him.
Yes.
How are you today, sir?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
I love working with you too, by the way. It's just like the great part of the industry is that you also find amazing people to work with. So
Cool.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
for
I
having me.
appreciate it. Yeah. I think one of our first scenes was in Fort Lauderdale.
With Jack Andy.
Yes, that was a
Direct
good
that
scene.
one.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
I
yes,
remember
yes.
that scene. That was fun.
Yeah,
And then I think you got plowed by three guys.
I did.
Yeah.
I think it was the day before. It was Zario.
Zario,
It was somebody else, but it was two guys.
Phoenix Fellington, I think.
Yes, Phoenix.
Yeah,
yes,
that
yes,
was
yes,
a
yes.
hot scene. I remember that.
Yeah.
I think Matthias von Fistenberg was on set for that.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and
All
that was
right.
my very first scene for them, and then you filmed the next day.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. You were one of those models where working with you it's a pleasure. And I forgot, when we took our first break today, I was like, fuck, I forgot how much fun this is.
Oh, thank
So,
you.
and I have a good rapport with a lot of models, and you kind of get their cadence and how they work and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's been a minute. It's been a minute since we've done it. So
Thank you.
because it's been a minute, what have you been up to?
Oh my God. I mean, 2020 has been
Fun?
fun, kind of like hell, for everybody. But mainly, I mean, I also work as a performer in cruise ships, other than doing this as well. So the entire 2019 going towards the beginning of 2020 was traveling the world doing that. And then I came straight in for the pandemic, and it was just lockdown, couldn't do anything. I didn't actually either film a lot of personal content because a lot was going on. The pandemic itself, if I did film, I was trying to be, I guess, safe in my own terms. Like I would film with somebody and let at least like 2 weeks go by until I would probably look into filming with somebody else, And that being said, it's a lot of time in between. So I didn't get to produce a lot of content either. And so it was just a lot of trying to deal with the chaos of the world. Lost my apartment because they were not able to lower our rent.
Oh, okay.
So the place that I loved being in, I had to move out. Obviously, cruise industry, shut down. So I've just been literally trying to survive.
Your cruise was what, like 6 to 9 months, or?
It was a lot. It started from August till March 15th.
Oh,
literally
God.
before
Yeah.
lockdown. Yes.
Holy
So
crap.
it was a long contract. Yeah.
What was that like? Because you had just gone, and it was European. Where did you go?
It was a world cruise.
Okay.
The one that I did, I was lucky enough to be a world cruise. So I was literally everywhere in the Southern Hemisphere. So everywhere from the Canary Islands to South Africa, New Zealand, Australia. It's just, I mean, many places,
Yeah.
it was incredible.
So you just traveled the entire world, and
Yes.
all of a sudden, literally at the nick of time, you get to New York, and literally everything shuts down.
Yeah, literally, that's how it happened.
Yeah. What was that? I remember being. I think I was on a shoot actually, right around the time, and I went to drop off some stuff at the office, and the city was dead.
Yeah.
What was that like for you after seeing all of this stuff, to come home and just be like all this frenzy?
Well, it's funny because, I mean, I was literally working nonstop since August, that year until, March when the pandemic happened. So I was actually quite happy to come home and just be locked in,
Yeah.
So at the beginning it was...
Well, you got it. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. So at the beginning it was very pleasant for me because I'm just like, this is my vacation. I'm here. I get to stay home. I get to enjoy home and just stay in, I was very lucky that I was able to finish my cruise. The only worry for me was the possibility of not being able to come back. Because I remember the day we were leaving the ship, we were poured in Hamburg, Germany, And there was a possibility that we might have not been able to get out of the ship because of the entire pandemic situation. And then the borders were starting to close within the United States and Europe. The only one that was open was flights between the UK and United States. And luckily, my flight was from London to New York.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So that very last day before they closed borders with London, I was able to fly, you know? And I still remember that flight. People were not even wearing masks. I remember I had a terrible cough. And there I am thinking like, oh my God, do I have COVID? Is this? Or is it just because we were in Norway, cold weather? Like, what is it, you know? It didn't turn out to be COVID. I still have negative results for antibodies. So wow. It was crazy, you know, but I was able to come back. So
Jesus.
Yeah, it was that part was very chaotic, but yeah.
And here you are.
And here I am.
And then you've been in lockdown in the city for the past year, or?
Yeah, basically. I mean, in the summer I did go visit family in Mexico City. And I stayed there for like 2 months and then came back, moved out of my apartment. And that was kind of like a sad time because me and my husband really liked that apartment. And we were hearing of all of these other places, you know, giving their tenants 3 months rent free, you know, or these sort of like incentives, you know, so people could stay. In our building, that was not happening. They did not even lower our rent. So a lot of people were moving, you know. And since we couldn't afford it, we both are performers. We were out of a job. It was just kind of like, well, I guess we have to move, you know. So that part of, you know, leaving the place that you love was pretty tough.
Yeah. When it comes to work, you said now you do shows, you're a performer. That part's been closed right now too.
Yes.
You haven't been doing a lot of porn stuff?
No. Well, now I'm slowly starting to record a lot of, you know, new content as well. But I've been mainly surviving with all of my, you know, which is my own content for my own personal pages, you know? And so the very few things that I put out there, I made sure that they were, I guess, things that people, you know, would really appreciate and be like, oh my God, he put a lot of effort, you know, to this. Because I like to get, like any other model, I guess, to get together with people that they really like collabing. And I like to get a cameraman so I don't have to worry about setting, you know, cameras and whatnot. So when I can, I like to put that kind of content out there, you know, even if it takes me a little bit of time, then I put something that's like a 40-minute long scene, you know, and I have to divide it in 3. So so now I'm finally,
Let's take it back before 2020.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about why you became a model.
Ooh, wow. Well, the short of it was I was working in my first cruise ship, and then I in the middle of my contract, I found out that my mom got diagnosed with breast cancer. And this was my first cruise, and I was literally in the middle of my contract, and I could not do anything in regards to going to Mexico or coming back or anything. And at that point, I remember many of my crewmates on board that were also performers, that it was their first time working on the ship. They were getting follow-up contracts, and I was not hearing anything from casting. So I was not even sure if I was going to work for them ever again, you know? And I kept reaching out, and they were like, it's too early, but we'll keep you in mind. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't sound good. So I literally said, what am I going to do, you know, for money? Because I have to help in any way, shape, or form, you know? My mom, my family, I have to help them, you know? So I remember when my contract ended, I talked to my husband about it and said, so I think I see an opportunity here to make money. I have a following on Instagram. At that point, I had a following on Instagram, not even Twitter. I feel like I can make some sort of good income if I just do some sort of mainstream porn that will bring more people into my personal content. What do you think? And my husband said, go for it. You know, I support you. Yeah. So that's kind of like the short story of it. You know, that incident, finding out about my mom, kind of pushed me to like, you know what, let's do this. Let's make some money and make it happen and help, you know?
Well, first of all, it's awesome that he was very supportive. Your mom's okay?
Yes.
Okay.
She's in remission now,
Good.
so everything's fine.
You have to have liked sex, though, right? Like, when
What?
you have to have liked.
Oh my God,
the
of course.
idea of it, right? Like something inside had to say, "Hey, I'm pretty good at this," right?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you do it because you're kind of a natural when it comes to it. So
I enjoy it, of course.
well, because look, if I had a situation like that, right, and I was, I had a smoking body, I was, a 10, and I was like, okay, well, I can probably do this. I'd seriously have to consider whether or not I'd be able to bottom like you.
Oh my God. It's
so because granted, I know you're verse, right? You're verse in life.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes on it, literally when it comes to life and, in
relationships,
yeah, of course. And I mean, when I first started having sex, when I was younger, I was strictly a top, and in Mexico City, I literally had no issue being just a top because everybody there is shorter than I am and everybody's more petite. Everybody's dicks as well. The average is smaller, so I had no issues.
Yeah.
And also just the idea of like preparing for all of this and all these scenes, it just seemed so like unappealing.
Well, see, that's
me.
the part that's unappealing to me.
Yeah.
The idea of not eating for 2 days, because that's what I would do too. I overheard you say, you have to prepare.
I'm very extreme when it comes to my ritual of preparing, And first of all, I think I acknowledged very quickly what my audience would be, and that my forte would be playing as a bottom, in porn. Because I still remember I did one scene once when I was kind of verse. And I'm very self-aware of it, and I didn't even see myself, and I'm like, I don't think that's Alessio Vega's brand, because I see it in a way, Alessio Vega, like my business,
Yeah, well, that's a good way to be.
Yeah,
like, from the get, like that's a very good way to be.
Yeah, but the preparation is, I put a lot of work into it, and it all starts with watching what I eat the day before. At what time did I stop eating? It all depends on what time the scene is the next day, as well.
Oh, wait, okay, so we're getting into it. How to bottom like a pro. This came with this program, by the way. You're one of the first models that I've been able to use this with, and I remember thinking, what am I going to use that for?
How to bottom like a pro.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I do, and for anybody else that wants to follow. For example, for today, we filmed a scene around 2:30-ish p.m. So for me, it all started yesterday. I stopped eating around 9 p.m.
Okay.
So I woke up this morning and I had nothing to eat other than coffee and water. And then probably like 2 hours before, I finally had something to eat, and I'm like, okay, if I eat something right now, everything is going to be good, but I have to have some food inside me, So then I get into the preparing aspect of it, which it takes me an hour, which is a lot.
An hour in, like, with the whole...
An hour douching.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yes, an hour douching. And I know maybe a lot of people, have a very different process, but my body is just... I know this is what I have to do in order to be, like, 100% sure that I'm ready. And it probably takes me an hour because I also like to take my time and not rush things. So that whole process of douching takes me an hour. Then I get out. Then I do like the paper towel test. And if that test does not pass my standards, I have to go inside the shower again.
Wait, what's the paper towel test?
So the paper towel test, for all of the bottoms that want to know. So by the time you're done douching and you think the water is running clear, And sorry if this is TMI for your audience. But
Please, they're lapping this shit up there.
great. Take notes, people. So the paper towel test is you get out and then you grab a piece of paper towel, you fold it, and literally you put it in your hole. And then you start kind of like making pumping motions with your fingers and pushing at the same time.
Okay.
So some of the water that's still in, gets to come out. So you do that, and if the water is clear, you're good to go.
Okay.
After doing all of that, you can do it a couple of times and push, and the water's clear, good to go. If it's not, go inside the shower again, at least for like 5-10 minutes, and then repeat the process.
Yeah. Jeez. Okay. Have you ever thought of branding your method?
Oh God, no. I've never thought of that.
Well, because, a lot of times, especially because I've seen the dicks that you've taken, right? I've seen how big these things are, and I'm like, holy fuck. And they come out pristine, clean.
I love it.
Yeah. And, granted, I haven't had that much bad luck when it comes to shooting and fucking there's shit all over the place.
Sure.
Or anything. Yeah. But I think it's an art. It's absolutely.
Yeah. For me, because that's my biggest worry. That's my biggest worry, that there's going to be an accident, and then there's like a 15-minute break in between, and then the mood comes down, and like I'd rather not be that person, you know. So I rather be sure, 100% sure that like nothing is going to happen. So that's why for me it starts from not eating anything the day before, just because how I know how my body works, and I know maybe other bottoms, this doesn't work for them, and maybe they have like a quicker ritual and it works for them, but it has not worked for me. So
do you speak from experience? Like, have you ever had an experience where you're like, fuck, like,
well, I mean, even so, that I've gone through all of these steps, before, and then I think it has happened, that I get to the shoot, and then like I literally know my body so well at this point that like I can just feel it in my stomach, And then I go, you know what? I'm just going to go to the bathroom real quick and touch up and just double check that everything's fine. And most of the times when I do that is when I see, oh yeah, I was not 100% ready.
Oh my God, that's perfect. Yeah,
because then most of the times, what happens is when you're on the go and you start walking towards the shoot and you start like, going up and down stairs or whatever, like obviously your body keeps moving. So another pro tip that I would give people as well is jump if you can, before doing the paper towel test, walk around a little bit, maybe take a little break if you have time, and then go back to it, But yeah, sometimes that motion, like when you get to the place, is like, I think I'm going to double check.
Let me ask you a question. This is less about cleaning out, more about taking dick. Because we've shot back to back.
Yeah.
How do you do that? What does your ass do that you're able to take one big dick and then eventually, if not the same day or the day after, or take another one?
Oof.
With I don't know, hopefully not that much pain. Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, I guess, first of all, that comes from me really loving bottoming, because, and I have to be, I guess as well, when I'm very, very into my scene partner and the top, that also helps a lot. It's very, I don't know. I'm really trying to think of like is it that I'm able to take it, but poppers helps, obviously. but I to a degree, the most important is I do have to be very into my scene partner and to be like, you know what, this is like,
it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. And like, I love the fact that it's like, the fact that I think that for other people, it would be a big challenge, to take all of that or even two at the same time. For me, it's like, I want to fulfill that challenge,
Wow. Okay, so you've taken 2 dicks at one time.
Oh my God, yeah, it's my favorite thing.
Get out of here. Okay.
It's my favorite thing.
How come I've never had that done to you?
I don't know. We haven't filmed any.
We have to do that. We
I
have
know.
to do that. Okay, so you can take 2 dicks in one ass.
Of course, yeah.
Yes.
I love it. I guess the aspect of like, oh, this is challenging, but I want to push through, Like, I guess that just kind of gives me motivation.
Well, shit, you went from being a top right, in Mexico.
Yeah.
To be to
Even
a
if people
bottom
find that hard to believe, but yes.
to a bottom that can take 2 dicks in his ass.
Yeah.
What was your first bottoming experience like?
Oh, wow. My first bottoming experience, I was in college here in New York, and I had a very difficult time finding people just to fuck, you know, because the kind of guys that I liked, they were all turning out to be tops, you know, and obviously they were taller and bigger and
In the city? Jeez,
bigger
that's
in the city.
Unicorn. I don't know where'd
Yeah.
you go to college? There's there's a factory of tops somewhere.
And this, I'm talking, you know, about like Grindr and all of that. But it's, I don't know, I had an issue, and then I was like, well, maybe then I guess I have to, learn how to bottom, you know, if all of these guys just want to top me. So I met this guy on Grindr, and he was like in my neighborhood, and he worked in a shop somewhere in the Upper West Side. And he showed me a picture of his dick, and I was like really into it. So I went to his shop. Then we went to the cellar. Is it the cellar, the one in the bottom?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we went to the cellar. We locked ourselves in, and it was just like literally probably one of like the most painful / like good feelings that I've ever experienced. And from there, I never went back.
Yeah. So wait. Did you know then too? Like, oh, I have to make sure I'm good to go. I'm cleaned out.
I did, but at that point as well, I had such a fast metabolism at that point when I was 26. Like anything that I ate during the day, like 5 hours later, you know, it'll be out, you know?
Yeah.
So I did, you know, prepare and douche, not with like such meticulous steps how I do right now, but I was good to go, you know? And I was surprised because that dick was probably like 10 inches, you know,
Jesus
for
Christ,
my first one.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. But the guy here, so here's the other element to it. The guy knew what he was doing. And, you know, many tops can have, you know, even not such big dicks, you know, and they even do more damage than the big ones, you know?
Because they don't know what they're doing.
Yes. Yeah. And it's so cliche, but as a bottom who has taken so many dicks, sometimes the big ones don't hurt as much as like, you know, average penises that comes from tops that just don't know what to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's funny, but yeah.
What kind of guys do you like? You like older guys or you like younger guys?
I like big dicks.
Oh, okay.
And it's funny, it all comes in phases, because I remember at one point I had this phase of like being so into twinks with big dicks, you know? And I was just like, that's all of the porn that I was watching, you know? That's all of the people that I was following on Twitter, you know, all of these skinny twinks, you know, with like humongous dicks. And I was like, oh my God, that is so hot. It comes and goes, but it's basically like my prototype is basically big dick.
Okay. All right. So old big dick, young big dick,
whatever big dick.
Black big dick, white big dick, Latin big dick, right?
Oh yeah.
Didn't we do? Oh, you did a scene with Esteban Orive.
Yes.
Remember? Oh, that
Holy
was a
shit.
good scene.
Yes.
Oh my God, I remember. Yeah. How could I forget?
I know.
That was such a great scene.
That was a great scene. And he was like one of my porn idols, you know, when I first started watching porn. And I remember, oh my God, I can finally, you know, take his dick. It was just like freaking amazing.
Yeah, you did a great job on that.
And it's amazing because he's thick. So thick ones, even though they're long, but thick ones have a completely different feeling of like long and thin. I don't know how to describe it. It's just like, it's kind of like taking two in a way at the same time, you know? So it was really hot.
He's
yeah. I don't know if that was a great scene. I don't know if he's that into me though, because I've been meaning to like contact him to film, you know, like personal content, because I know he lives here. But I don't know. I get a little bit of like the cold shoulder for him. So
he has been out of the country since this whole thing started.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I tried. He's not really big on Twitter.
I see.
No pun.
Yeah.
He's not really big on Twitter. usually it's his WhatsApp. If you want, I'll give you his WhatsApp info.
Maybe you can try.
Yeah, he because he had a number, and I just wanted to check and see because he's one of those porn models who outside of porn is such a trip, like to hang out with. He's a very, very cool guy.
I love that.
Yeah, and I had an impromptu trip to LA last year, and he just happened to be there. And this is 2019, December 2019, before everything happened. And he just happened to be there, so we got a drink, and then that drink ended up being us going out to a bar, and I hadn't been out in LA in such a long time.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was a good time, and that was the last time I saw him.
Okay, then maybe I should.
Yeah, because I think that scene was a lot of fun.
I know. Yeah. I had a lot of fun with him for sure.
What was your like porn taste growing up? Did you watch a lot of gay porn, or did you watch straight porn too?
I did.
Okay, so you watched.
Well, and it's funny. That's kind of how, in a way, it started. I started watching a lot of straight porn, and I remember at the beginning, like being really into, boobs and pussy and all of this. And I was like, oh my god, it's like this is hot, But then, obviously, something started shifting, I guess, for me, and I started focusing more on the guys, and on the dick and on the guy's ass, and so that kind of like started, I don't know, around like 17-ish when I started watching porn. And and then kind of like my taste to it obviously was just 100% gay. I was just like, okay, I think I like dick more.
Done with titties.
Done with titties and pussy. Like now I'm done. Now dick.
Were you ever straight?
No.
Growing up, you were.
Yeah.
And I'm by that I mean like because we all go through that phase where we have to pretend we're straight.
And I mean, when I was younger, I honestly didn't even know. I know I was different. I know I was, in a way, kind of like. I was very into a lot of girl stuff. And, I had an older sister growing up. So I was very into like the pink and the glitter and the Barbies. And she did ballet. So I was like into the ballet, like all of these things, and I didn't see that as gay when I was growing up. I know it was not meant to be for boys, because I grew up in a very strict Catholic, Mexican family. And that's like, there's girl stuff and there's boy stuff, So I knew that I was different because I liked very girly things, but I didn't consciously think, oh, I'm gay because I like these things, I guess that didn't come until I was 16, 17, when I started fantasizing more about having sex with men, So
what was it like when you say you grew up Mexican, Catholic? What about the guys in school and stuff? Were you teased? Were you?
Oh yeah, a lot.
So people knew. People kind of.
People knew. People, would say the F word, and I would just not understand it. Girls and boys would bully me and tease me nonstop.
Really?
Just for being different, just for maybe talking differently, and but it just didn't. It didn't hit me because at that moment I was not thinking consciously, yeah, I'm gay, I was just like, they're saying the F word to me, but they're just doing it because, I don't know.
They say it to everybody.
Yeah, just to tease me, So that aspect growing up was very hard because I grew up in a very small town, not even in Mexico City. I grew up in a very small town, and that was even worse, because it's just unheard of, And I even got teased by a couple of my teachers as well.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. I got called the F word by one of them. He was the kickball teacher from sports.
So Jim.
Yeah. Yes. And just because that was probably one of the most stressful classes for me to take. Anything that involved a ball, it was the most stressful thing for me to do. I was good at running. I was good at jumping, but I was not good with a ball. So anything that involved a ball, it was the highest stress situation for me. So whenever I would not kick the ball correctly or whatever, God, the teacher would let me have it, and would call me the F word in front of all of my classmates.
Look at that. Now you like balls.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It was low hanging fruit.
No, I know.
I'm
like, there's gonna be a pun there for sure.
I'm sorry for being so predictable.
That's so good.
What's it like? Okay, because you've been doing porn for a minute now. What's it like being Latino and doing porn?
I don't know. I guess I don't know how to answer that question.
Because, well, I mean, I always notice when there are brown or Latin people, because I enjoy that. I enjoy a little bit of everything. Like, just being able to see the difference. I wish, I'm not gonna lie, I wish there were more Asian people in porn.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. So that way it's not, when you go on straight sites, it's like a fetish, Asian.
Yeah. Oh God.
I kind of want to just,
I still remember, and I had a face as well that it was just like watching porn between like black and Asian, and I don't think there's a lot of that now. I have not seen a lot of that.
Yeah.
And it was so specific for me to look. It's like there's not a lot of black and Asian.
Yeah. And actually, Champ did he did a series, and it was black guys. He loves Asian guys, and he did this scene, and he's like, "Oh, I just did this scene, blah blah blah." It was like 5 or 6 black guys and this one Asian bottom. And I'm like, what are you going to call it? Cum dumpling? And he's like,
oh, God.
Holy shit. And sure enough, he did. And I was like, dude, I need credit for that.
Oh, my God.
But it does it come from a place of like making fun? That was a clever name. And also, he absolutely enjoys the idea of bringing in other people. It's just very hard to find because I've been looking for.
And I mean,
Asian
I think the industry right now is just, it's changing a lot because we're living in a time where there's movements like Black Lives Matter and all of this like racially conscious kind of like I guess standards and things that there was none of that beforehand. I mean, I still remember watching God, you don't call it antique porn. What is it? Retro porn. Yeah. I mean, I still remember watching that, and it was, they would say some things, and the themes that they would touch, that it was like, oh my God, if you do that nowadays, it would be so looked down at.
Yeah. Well, the porn industry is very racist, and we don't talk about it as much as it should. But
yes,
it's.
So that's what I'm saying in a way. Yeah. I guess I don't know how to answer your question because. Yeah. I mean, I'm Hispanic, but at the same time, physically, I'm very light skinned.
Yes. Okay.
So, I mean, there's even people on Twitter that are like, "Oh, that white guy," and I'm like, "Well, I'm not white."
Yeah. Well, see, I feel a lot of times, Latino, they all it's either people only see either black or white.
Yeah.
And we kind of fall right through the middle.
Yeah.
And sometimes people are more than happy with it. Like, fuck, I don't want to rock any boats. I don't want to start any problems. But we're still here.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what exactly this entire movement and era has done, has made us, in a way, a little more conscious of what we produce, what we film, what we put out there, who we collab with, and... me coming from another country who was, let alone this is not even my culture, I come into a country and be put in one of the biggest cities in the world, and you grow up watching all of this, foreign porn, and all of these themes and black and white and Asian and black and using all of these words and all of these scenes, and it's like no blacks here, and then the black guy fucks the white guy, and it's just like you grow up seeing all of that, and being from another country, and then you get here, it's like, oh, so this is what it's about, and then all of these things start happening, and it's like, oh, so okay, so it's no more political, so now it's like. Now there's people getting pissed off. Now there's people, rightfully so, saying this is not right and this should probably change, which I agree. I mean, if there can be a positive change to put stuff that's less, I guess, controversial.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be fine, you know?
I don't even have a problem. Like,
but it's porn. So
Yeah.
then at the same time, it's like, so what are you going to do? It's like you're going to kiss and have, you know, a bottle of champagne and just like...
The idea that, you know, because all that comes from exploitation. Porn is exploitation. Everything we do with porn, we're paying somebody to have sex so that somebody else can get off. That's a form of exploitation.
Yeah.
In its truest definition.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I agree with what you're saying. There has to be like some point where you're like, okay, well, this is okay, that's okay. And when I have arguments, when I make arguments and stuff, I love hearing jokes. Like if we made a joke between ourselves and stuff about Latin people, about,
oh my God,
I
of course.
have no problem like listening to that. It's funny but there's comedy and then there's hate. And then that's
the thing. And
you can tell.
And you can tell. I think that's probably one of the biggest problems that I guess you will call it the cancel culture people have a difficulty, I guess, identifying is when somebody is, I guess, being playful or like, oh my God, they're friends. That's totally fine. Or like, oh my God, but they're both Mexican or they're both Latin or whatever. You know, it's like some people have a difficulty, I guess, identifying when it's a joke between friends or when it's like, oh my God, that is completely personal. That is so wrong, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, to what point do we really, you know, stop and are like, oh my God, we cannot even, you know, joke.
It's just like the Me Too movement. It's going to come to a point where no one's going to be, well, I mean, right now, nobody's able to hug, nobody's able.
Yeah.
Before that, it was going to get to a point where we were just going to be like this, because if you touch somebody the wrong way.
Oh, yeah, then it's politically incorrect.
So I think after a certain point, it just becomes a personal problem with people. Like whatever problem you have with this situation or what happened is not my fault. It's something that you kind of have to think about yourself.
And I mean, for me is I don't get offended very easily. I have to look into, I guess, for example, where that person is coming from, you know, or if I'm going to attack somebody or call them a racist, you know, I need to see where are they coming from. What type of content they're producing, who are they following, what are their political views, what have they done in the past? Of course, you know, because, I mean, you can't just judge people by just one thing, you know, or like by the way they behaved with their friends or whatever. So that's just me as a person, you know, and I don't know if that just comes from me not being a very confrontational guy, but I do like to see where people are coming from in any scenario, you know? Yeah. It's like,
well, good. That's a good way to be.
I mean, it's like when I got into this industry, you know, one of the things that surprised me a lot was the amount of, if you work with so-and-so, you can't work with me. Or if you ever work with so-and-so, we can't film, you know? Or how dare you film with so-and-so before you even film with me, you know? Yeah. And for fuck's sakes, people, like, it's just sex. Yeah. Why does it have to be so political and difficult, you know? And that was kind of like the thing that surprised me about the industry. All of these, I guess, rules of like, sorry, we can't film together. It's like, oh, but if you film with so-and-so, like, your career is done, you know? And then you would see that same person filming for them. And I'm like, why?
There's a lot of snakes in the garden.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's a lot of opinions. There's a lot of egos. There's a lot of drama involved as well in this industry. And I come from the theater world, you know, and I told
you've seen some drama.
Yes, and I told my friends, you know, back in Mexico, it's like there's no comparison. I mean, this industry has beautiful things. You know, it has led me to meet people like you. And people, you know, like, I love working with Raw Fuck Love, you know. It's people that it's like nothing complicated. This is what it is, super transparent, and, you know, we're done, you know. But there's the opposite side, which is also very political. And you can't film with so-and-so, and sorry, we don't work with these people. And it just becomes, I'm sorry, I didn't know I was not supposed to post that video on Just for Fans. I guess I have to take it off from Just for Fans and put it on OnlyFans only. That aspect as well is so tiring because you have to consult now with everybody. Are you okay with me posting our video that we both own and this side, you know? So there's a lot to take into consideration now, which I didn't expect that from the industry.
Yeah, I mean, you came at such a interesting time.
Yeah.
Where everything opened up. With your drama, you're a singer, right?
Yes.
Yeah? Do you have anything that you would sing for me?
Oh my God, what can I sing?
I'm going to lower this just a little bit so we don't blow anybody out here, but give me a taste of something.
No habrá nada ni nadie que nos ate, a donde sea los dos podríamos ir. Lejos se irían todas las desgracias y estar por fin los dos.
Jesus. God damn, there's so much fucking talent in the gay porn industry. Not
and
only
this is like if I'm not even warmed up.
What?
So.
Yeah, no, I know.
Thank you.
Is that yours?
No, that's from a musical called Aida.
Oh, okay, but
in Spanish.
Okay,
Obviously.
yeah. I was gonna say it's not in Spanish, is it?
No. No, I did it a long time ago in the city, the Spanish version.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
I had been meaning to ask you because of the fact that you had said you were going to be performing on this cruise. So I was like, oh, he must have a beautiful voice. Thank you. You showed me.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I originally came here to do, you know, in the city, and that's what I studied. That's what I've been doing my entire life. I've been singing since I was 16 years old, and yeah, it's what I love doing. You know, it's unfortunate that industry it's been one of the most affected, you know, in this pandemic. So,
did you have situations where people recognized you from first the cruise, like, you know, because they're like, oh, there he is. There's that singer. Well, there's that performer.
It hasn't happened yet. It hasn't happened yet, oddly enough, because I mean, the demographic of the cruise ships that I go to, they're all old German people, straight couples.
Really? Yeah. Okay.
So the demographic, I mean, the age, I guess average is like 68 and up. So no, I would be very surprised if they would watch any of my movies.
Oh yeah, that was one thing.
Yeah, but I've had a few crewmates identify me. So yeah, and it's been fun.
Yeah. They're like,
I mean, there's nothing sexier like, you know, just waiting, you know, face down, ass up, you know, in your cabin and just be like, okay.
Wow. Okay, so you had some fun.
Here comes the officer, you know.
You had some fun?
Of course.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
What about on the street in New York?
Screen?
On the street in New York.
What in terms of the street?
Do you have people ever recognize you and
no, but I've had a lot of hey, nice to meet you. Oh, I think I know you from somewhere, you know? And I'm like, I don't know where it is. I think I've seen you somewhere, like in blah, blah, blah bar or something. And I'm like, yeah, perhaps, you know? So I've had a lot of people that they think they know me. But I don't know. I also think Alessio is not that famous yet to be like, oh my God, there goes the porn star. And even if they do recognize me, I haven't had anybody yet, you know, be so upfront.
Maybe not in mainstream, but you are in gay porn. If people don't know who you are yet, they're living under a rock. Okay?
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, I think probably like only 2 people I remember once in the building that I used to live in. They were doing drag bingo. So a couple of friends, my husband and I were down there doing drag bingo. And one of the drag queens comes over and she's like, oh my God, by the way, I love your work. And I'm like, thank you.
That's always fun, right?
And I'm like, thank you. So that was fun. Yeah.
One last question. What would you say people who get to know you would be surprised to find out about you?
That I'm very that I'm pretty much of an introvert.
Okay.
I'm a very quiet, to myself, non-confrontational, as I told you, introvert, love being at home playing video games or just chilling with just like 2 or 3 friends. I don't think that's probably something that they wouldn't expect of me, that I'm a very kind of like outside of the movie. I would call it boring in a way. I'm pretty boring outside of porn.
I feel you. If I'm at an event or something like that, I'll go to the bar and I'll hang out by the bar.
Yeah, that would probably be me too.
Yeah, see,
that would probably me too.
I'd look forward to that day.
Yeah, because it's like, because even in, I haven't attended any of these, like porn awards or whatever, but that would be a very high stress situation for me,
Oh, God. I went to Las Vegas right before, it was 2020. So the GAV ends in 2020.
Oh, wow.
And I was there shooting for Treasure Island, and Champ was there, Raw Fuck Club, everybody was there, or all the studios that I know.
Yeah.
And Champ's like, oh, why don't you come to this party? It's in a penthouse and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, it's totally not my scene. But he's like, he talked me into it. So I go.
Yeah.
And I had to buy clothes because whenever I do this stuff, I literally go there to shoot.
Yeah.
And I'm almost certainly gone or on a plane by the time any event show happens.
Got it.
Because I want to come home. I have no problem with just like you, just being home. I'll be with my boyfriend. We'll hang out. We'll go out with my friends.
Yeah.
So I go out and I buy clothes in Vegas somewhere, and we go to this penthouse party. And he's like, "Oh, don't worry, we'll be together the whole time." I'm like, "Okay, Champ, sure." So we walk into the party, and almost immediately, it's almost like literally I just get pushed like little by little to the side. Yeah, well, people start gravitating towards him, or he starts talking to people.
Of course.
And there was a picture of him, Max Connor, Raheem, and all these people, and Cutler.
Yes.
All 4 of them could have blown up the internet. And I told them too, I was like, dude, any scene you guys want to do together, let me know.
Of course, gold.
But after that, like literally, people start coming, and little by little, you get moved to the
pushed
side.
to the side. Yeah.
So then that's where I find myself at a bar.
Of course.
I prefer that situation at this point than anything. I'm like, I'm not going to pretend that I'm going to talk to everybody here. I'm just going to go to the bar. Anybody that hangs out at the bar, I'll hang out with.
Yeah, that would be me as well, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like honestly, you say that, but you would go there and people would absolutely be all over you.
You think? Thank
absolutely,
you.
Absolutely.
I mean, it would be a matter of trying, Maybe one of these days. I would love to go. Yeah,
hopefully, next year it's not.
And I would do it. I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's kind of like, the stage fright in a way that I have, when I'm performing on a ship or on a stage or whatever. Like at the beginning, I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go out. And then, once I'm there, it's like everything is fine.
Yeah, it's. I'm not gonna lie. It's validating because a lot of times as a porn star, you do the work, and it takes going to these events to see how many people absolutely love your stuff. Twitter does that too. Mm-hmm. Like Twitter kind of shows you that, but being somewhere where people have paid, and a lot of times that's what happens. Like the Penthouse has a lot of porn stars and stuff, and that's another thing that's really cool is it's gratifying to see porn stars enjoy each other's company and enjoy each other's work.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But then when you see fans that come because they know that is
that is something really that cool. I would love to experience at least once, because I haven't had that kind of like close interaction with people. So
I say you need to take a lot of dick for the whole year.
Yep.
Right, and then we'll put it in a couple of nominations, or we'll put it in a couple of award shows.
I hope so. Yeah.
And we'll make
I'm still want to give you a scene that involves like double fucking, or
I want you had mentioned Romeo Davis.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah. When he comes, and I've been in touch with him, when he comes, we'll do that scene.
Okay.
Because that'll be great.
Love
before we go, where can people find you?
Okay, so you guys can find me on my Twitter, which is Alessio with double S, Vega XXX, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah, because I had Instagram, but then
just for fans, only fans. You have your pages?
Just for fans is Alessio Vega XXX as well, and OnlyFans is Jock Official 84.
Okay.
Yeah, it's different because it started even before Alessio was a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can't change the name now, right?
I can, but I mean, everything is just linked up to Jock Official 84. But if you guys go follow me on Twitter, which is Alessio Vega XXX, you will find all of the links.
Sweet.
There.
All right. Shit. Thank you so much. I absolutely appreciate you doing this.
Thank you for having
It's been a
me.
minute, but I'm glad that you were on. And guys, this is Demystifying Gay Porn. We're on every podcast directory. You can find us there. You can find us on YouTube. Wherever you do, click the like button, click the subscribe button, smash that notification bell, right? That's that whole smash that like button, smash this, smash that. But yeah, Demystifying Gay Porn. My name is IK Grande, and if you watch gay porn, I've definitely helped you get off. And so is this guy. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.